Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
What's up, everyone? I don't even know if you can hear me or not, but what's up, everyone? How's it going? Thank you guys for joining us today. We have another podcast. My name is Christian. Thank you guys for joining us. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Dynamo. We're going to be talking a little bit about just that, honestly. There's not a lot to talk about. But since audio is a little low, let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me get somebody in here that can talk while I can fix this. But here we go. Maddie, welcome to the stage. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How's everyone's week been? I feel like I haven't done a lot this week. I got back into working, but after like my whole World Cup adventures, so I did like 50 hours or 60 hours this week, and then I moved back into school this weekend. So, do we have you?
I think, can you hear me there?
I can hear you.
Okay, then we should be good. So back to school. How are you excited about that?
Yeah. I think I'm ready. It's always something being back home, so ready to have my own space again.
There you go. And how many years do you have left?
2.
2 more. Okay, so almost there. You know, you just got to keep pushing through.
Yeah.
That's good. Good to hear. Obviously eventful summer. So I think, I always remember going back to school and like teacher would be like, "Hey, so what did you guys do?" And if it was you would have.
Yeah, I know. I have so many stories. So that's like something I feel like last summer I didn't have anything to say. Last summer I just like pretty much worked all summer, and my break days were going to the Dynamo. But this summer I feel like I did more like World Cupping and going out, and then my break days were going to work, and it was like completely flipped.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, I think I felt like I lived a whole another life in 1 month.
Yeah. It's so crazy that like the last month that I've lived like post World Cup and the World Cup month were like back to back, because it feels like just like there were like years in between the two.
Right? Like I feel like I aged like at least 42 years in between or something like that.
Same.
Let me throw the chat on the screen if I can. Yeah, we'll put it there. Just in case anybody wants to say something. But shout out to Rushan, shout out to Jay Hurtado, of course, as always, and Jeff also back again. But yeah, Leagues Cup is also a part of MLS thing that's going to be happening. Obviously, the Dynamo are not going to be in it. They participated in the U.S. Open Cup, so that's nothing that for us to talk about, but something that we can talk about. It's for sure this great Dynamo, run that they're on. But before we get to that, let me just shout out our sponsors real quick, just because Dago wants to get on Strava. We'll add you on Strava, Dago, here towards the end of the show. Remind me again before we leave. But yeah, let me shout out Unisport. You can go ahead and check them out. They have 2 locations here in Houston. You can get anything and everything that you need gear-wise for soccer. If you're a parent, player, or even a coach or a fan, honestly, you can find anything there. 2 great locations here in the city of Houston. Make sure you check out there. And whenever you go, just let them know that Bayou City Soccer sent you, and you will get a little discount on your order as well. Of course, Ugly Guppy. Ugly Guppy has been awesome with us. They have been here since the beginning, so they were our first sponsors. So we owe a lot to them. They've been awesome. And last but not least, Elotes Bravos. I'm sure everybody loves corn in a cup as much as the next person does here in Houston. So shout out to those guys. You can find them at the stadium. So make sure you just go over there and stop by and get some aguas and get some elotes and just have yourself a good old time. But yes, let's get into the game. I mean, there's not a lot to be said. I think. It feels great to win. Right? It feels good. It feels good to come back and be like, it's been a good week. It was a good weekend for us. But let me just hear your overall thoughts, and then we'll kind of dive in deep, kind of line by line, player by player, just to kind of get a little bit more deeper. But just overall, I don't know if you got to see the game. I saw it today. But what did you think about this game?
I thought it was good. I think we're seeing a lot of progress. I remember this time last year, I was fully crashing out, like trying to support the team, but they were on their probably one of their biggest losing streaks they had been on the same time last year. So to be, I think, where they're 5 games unbeaten right now, maybe 6. And so to have that, like, you have to take the positives. I know people have talked about this game negatively. And okay, here's my thing. People keep saying, oh, but it was bottom of the league, Kansas City. But Kansas City, besides LA, which LA is going to get through pretty much almost everyone. They did, not the Dynamo. The Dynamo did beat them at home, or at LA's home. But the LA team is not, I don't think it's such a shocking thing to lose to them. But besides that, Kansas City, I had said, had been in pretty decent form, right? They had scored 2 goals against their rivals with St. Louis. They ended up losing to St. Louis, but you're still scoring 2 goals against them. So I don't think it's fair to discredit this win as, oh, you beat a bottom of the league team, and one of the goals was handed to you by the goalkeeper. I think you take the win and keep moving forward with it.
And I mean, those games, you still have to beat the bottom of the table teams. So it's, it's not like it comes easy, especially whenever, in this league, literally everybody can beat anybody at this point. It doesn't matter. Top of the league, bottom of the league. Sometimes it's just about momentum, and we as in the Dynamo happen to be in a good one. So, I mean, you got to take any point that you can get, especially as an opponent from the same conference. They say that those games are worth 6 points instead of 3, just because obviously you push somebody down to push yourself up. And then obviously, I mean, it leaves you in a good position. And sometimes a lot of those points that you kind of leave on the road, losing or tying to like these bottom teams, are the ones that sometimes propel you to like be in the top spots. Because when you play against the top,
it has been great. I love him. And then obviously Resh, right? Ben said, I'm going to keep playing him until he plays like a college kid, and he continues to play top level. You don't see, a fresh out of college kid like that. So yeah, I think the defense is finally to a point where they're okay benching Eric, which maybe they weren't at the beginning, right? Eric kind of had that veteran spot. And so now that he's benched, I'll be interested to see if Antonio Carlos comes back in, or if once he's healthy, or if they continue to keep this Resh Halter back line. I think it's good. I think it works well. I think Anali is starting back there, and then obviously running forward as a winger, he does great doing that too.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they finally have figured out this defensive issue that kept being an issue.
Do you kind of talked about it a little bit, but do you like Anali in that back 4?
I think with how he does okay. Last game, I felt like he had done better. I kept the last, DC and Austin. I didn't think that he made much of a difference. I did think he did a little bit better against Sporting.
Yeah. Hold on. People are saying this is buffering a lot. I'm not having any issues on my side. Are you having any issues on your side?
No.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, everybody. I really don't know what to do. Our producer Rudy, who does everything, usually he is out of town, unfortunately, and I'm sure he would have fixed it, but I don't know what to do. Okay, it's running okay at the moment. We'll go with Jeff. We'll go with that. But I'm glad everybody's tuning in. At least everybody is letting us know. There's a lot of people on the chat. on the Bayou banter, as Rudy calls it.
Bayou banter,
all right? We're good.
Rudy didn't like the chat.
Yeah, he I don't know why he doesn't like the whole chat stuff. He doesn't want to be a young guy. Like when you're when you get old like us in their 30s and your knees hurt, you're like these young kids. You don't want to call it stuff by what everybody calls it. But I think we're good to go here. But yeah, going back to Anali, I like this comment by Rushan, who said, Anali said, as long as I get to play, I'll play anywhere. And I think it's one of those things that, I mean, yeah, if you're Anali, you just have to be happy that you're on, right? It doesn't matter where on the field, and it's one of the typical answers. As long as I can help the team, I'll just play anywhere that I can. Yeah, old in our 30s. Yeah, I mean, we feel old. I feel old. But yeah, I think Anali has been great. It's one of the things that I think we talked about a lot when we had Joey on a lot, and when we had Rudy and Dustin here, we would have conversation about tactics and stuff like that. And one of the things that would always come on was like, what is the perfect spot for Anali, right? is he good enough to be on the wing and to like take on one-on-ones? Sometimes he would just crash out and like literally crash into players. Sometimes I mean, in the beginning, he was awesome and like cut in and use his speed and, just beat everybody on the run and a lot of those things. But I think giving him, and then another big question going, having him as a right back was, is he or a left back, whatever he's playing, because I think he switched on this one.
Yeah, he did switch.
How is he going to do defensively? I think in the first couple of games he did struggle. He was always late to his mark in the second post, and I can't remember exactly which game it was, but I remember balls basically going across the box and ending up on the second post, and Ali was nowhere to be found, and the player would just tap it in. But I think that was you learn as you go, and I think Ben Olsen found a way to kind of keep his best players on the field. I think that was one of those things that we talked about in the beginning, the back five, that Joey will die on the hill that it was not a back five. But I love Joey. But it was like a back five, and then that was literally the only way that you could play Bogusz, Bogusz, Jack, Nali, Guilherme, like all the guys that are good, right? Without kind of keeping them in the attack altogether. But obviously that formation did not work. I feel like you have to get used to it. It's kind of hard to defend with three sometimes. It's just weird. But finally they found a spot, and I think everybody is just working at the perfect pace. You talked a little bit about Lucas Halter. We did hear that Eric Shevchenko was probably on his way out. Obviously he had to stay because Antonio Carlos maybe had a knock, so obviously you can't just get rid of guys when you don't have backups. Do you see Shevchenko ever coming back to either a starting role or to like being an important piece and in the starting 11 for this Dynamo?
Honestly, and it breaks my heart to say that, no. He's done so much for the club, but
Yeah.
I stand there and supporters, right? So once they normally attack towards supporters, and then second half they're defending right in front of us, and so he's subbing in for the second half. So I see him like front row defending,
Yeah.
and he seems really slow, really heavy. It just doesn't seem like he's the same Svianchenko that we used to know. And we have all of these young guys who are fast, who are quick, who are smart, who are making these good decisions, and so he's a great personality to have in the locker room, and I will die on that hill. He can, like, I would love to see him come as a coach, but I don't know that he necessarily needs to be on the field.
Yeah, but it's sad, right? But I think it's part of the game, right? People or teams get younger, and it just happened to be that in Shevchenko's case, it did get younger in that position. I mean, Lucas Halter is a baller, and I don't think anybody expected Resch to be as good as he is, right? I think we said it. I think you mentioned, right? Ben Olsen said if he was just a regular college guy, he probably wouldn't be playing, but he's not. He has stepped up and he's been doing good. And I mean, 2 clean sheets in a row, I think it says a lot, especially against an Austin team. I mean, granted, Austin and Sporting Kansas City are both bottom of the table. But like we mentioned, you still have to win those games. Sometimes those are the most difficult ones because those teams have nothing to lose. They're already gone,
Yeah.
And who cares? They're just looking forward to next year because they know they're not going to get relegated. They know they're not going anywhere. So who cares, right? One person that I feel like has been a little bit quiet, at least in that line, has been Andrade. What do you think about him? I feel like he's still decent, right? Like he still does what he has to do. I feel like before he would get to the box more. Maybe with the overload of offensive players, he hasn't been, needed as much. But what do you think about that?
I really enjoyed him at the beginning of the season, but I do think coming back from this break, he hasn't been as there. And I've also seen a few times where Lucas Halter like takes that, I don't know, the more like mature. I think they might be the same age, but you'll see Lucas like yelling at Felipe or having to almost cover for Felipe, because there was one really big play where Felipe just completely missed his mark. I think it was in the DC game. And so yeah, I do think he's been quiet and he hasn't been as he hasn't needed to attack as much, but I do think that goes back to like I think the offense has finally figured something out with exception to one player. The rest of the offense,
Who?
I know,
Who
right?
could that
Let's
be?
look at some rankings. I know. I have to throw shade where I can. But besides that, the rest of the offense has figured it out. It's not as much of an issue. Even though the commentators for Apple were saying something like the Dynamo has scored the least amount of goal or close to the least amount of goals of the league. I feel like we've been scoring great. So
That's interesting.
yeah, I know. We should look into this stat. I feel like he was lying to me.
I mean, it feels like everybody has. I mean, they have 24 goals for San Jose Earthquakes in. Wait, no, that's 20. They have 25. I mean, they're pretty average.
See, and the commentator kept saying that we were struggling offensively, and I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he's tripping.
Yeah,
I mean,
can't always trust the Apple.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver has 38, Los Angeles has LAFC 35, San Jose 37, and then Houston in fourth place 25, RSL 29, FC Dallas 32. So I mean, they're kind of like in the mid 20s to 30s, like after that. But obviously, the first three are killing it, in the high 30s. But after that, there's kind of like a little drop to like low 30s, high 20s, and the Dynamo are, they have 25. I mean, I don't care as long as you win games. You can win them 1-0, all of them. I'm okay with that. Let's move forward to the next line of the attack or to the defense, whatever it is. I feel like that is probably I mean, you could argue that the strongest is like probably the ones ahead, the attacking mids, but I feel like the defensive mids have been on point. You have Hector Herrera, who I think has I don't know where he came from. But,
I know.
But gray hair Hector Herrera is like a whole different beast.
Yeah.
And then you have Arthur, who's always been consistent usually. I mean, Samoseco, whenever he comes in, I feel like he does a great job. He didn't get a lot of minutes this game. And then Agustin Bosat, who was played in a different role. So let's talk about those four guys, and then we can finish off on Agustin Bosat because I feel like he has been, at least in this game, he was like, last game against Austin, he played probably his best game as a Dynamo player. But this game, he played in a different role, and I feel like that made a change to the whole structure of what Ben Olsen is trying to do. And I feel like he figured something out. He unlocked Bosat somehow, somewhere. But tell me a little bit about the other guys, and then we'll talk about Bosat in a minute.
Yeah, Hector Herrera has just when he was signed, it was originally like, is he just being signed as like a personality hire, right?
Yeah.
Is he just coming back in to give the team some, I don't know, some maturity, someone to kind of tell them what's going wrong? And so that's what originally we thought Hector Herrera was coming in for. So now to see him play such a major role and kind of, I don't know if he's necessarily going back to the full 2023 Hector Herrera, but you see there are so many balls being played. That's what they would always say in 23. Every single ball that's going to be played that's going to a goal is going to be going through Hector Herrera. And so I think if he has the fitness to play the full 90, we've seen is just I am still shocked by what my expectations were with him coming back. Of like, he's gonna come off the bench, he's gonna bring maybe that slowness, but he'll be there to slow games down. Whatever we need, like he'll do it. But to see him just making runs, moving across the field, seeing all of that it's really like, wow, wait, this is actually he's old, but there's like this youthfulness to him almost, this energy that you can feel.
100%. I mean, I completely agree with that. I think he has found like his new role, right? I mean, I feel like he always was a leader, even when I didn't know much about him, but I knew of him, like, from afar, playing in Atletico Madrid. He wore a captain armband in Portugal when he played over there. And, in the national team in Mexico, he was always a player that people looked up to, right? He's one of the, I don't know if one of the greats in Mexico, but, one of the names that people will always throw out from the Mexican national team. And it's cool just to see how he kind of continues that same line of leadership on this Dynamo, right? And we always talk about it, and I think I bring it up every single week. But I think, Hector Herrera, by the time he retires, he's going to be in the Mount Rushmore of the Houston Dynamo. He has to be. I mean, he came in, as we talked about, in 2023. He won a title at the US Open Cup, not a major title as the MLS Cup, but I think some silverware is still something good for this club. And then just everything that he kind of meant in leadership wise, and he almost feels like a coach inside of the field, like an extension of Ben Olsen, inside of the field, which is something that sometimes is super needed. And he's the connection between the young and the old, and the Spanish players and the Spanish speaking players and the non-Spanish speaking players, even though he maybe his English is probably not the greatest, but I feel like he uses that leadership maturity to kind of bring bridge that gap and have a good cohesive team as a whole. And I mean, yeah, he has become, and he played 89 minutes and a half. So fitness wise, is one of those guys that you want to look. It's like, what are you eating? What are you doing? Like, how are you taking care of yourself? Because even though your hair is gray, like he looks older, right?
Yeah, which is crazy because I feel like we were having the conversation. He had those injuries in 24 too. So part of the conversation was, does he still have the fitness to be keeping up? So then, and that was part of Pat's reason for letting him go. It was like, well, his contract, we wanted him to play this many games, injury, fitness, he wasn't, all of that. And then, he gets the red card, they let him go, and he comes back probably more fit than when we let him go.
And it's a great redemption story. Like, leaving kind of like in bad terms per se. And you're like, oh, this, the story of Hector Herrera is kind of tarnished in a way, right? Like when he came in, were you in Houston when he came in?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
No, man, you would have loved everything that they did for Hector Herrera. They rented out the post. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Yeah. Like they rented out the post. They had like a whole like homecoming thing. Like they had a whole. I'm surprised you don't know about this.
No.
But they literally they rented out the post. They packed it out with people, flags. I'm like right now I kind of kick myself that I didn't go, because I'm sure it's a great. But it was packed. I mean, obviously. Being a Mexican national player, a lot of Mexican people were out there, just because they wanted to see a glimpse of this guy that went to Europe and triumphed, and now was coming back to retire and the MLS, and he had a whole mural, and there's like
I think I did know about the mural.
Yeah, hundreds of people were out there. Like he was parade through the city, like Caesar coming back from battle type thing, and it was awesome. I mean, like if you can Google, like I don't know if anybody on the chat, on the banter, was able to go to those things, but I mean it was called H Town like for a while, because they literally made them like the main focus of the Houston Dynamo, which was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes you just need a face for your franchise. But it was awesome to see, and
I always think he was more like before Messi came. Like everyone keeps they're like, oh, why isn't the Dynamo signing a big player? All of that. Ache was our big player. Like he was when you think about it, like he was that. I mean, he's coming from Europe. He's a Mexico. I feel like legend, but also I don't know a lot about the Mexico national team.
Yeah.
Oh, look, my dog is deciding to join the podcast.
Hey, the cat and the dog.
Right. We'll just have them talk.
You're good.
No, but I would have done that for him coming back. Honestly, like when we got the news, right, it was originally some like unknown Twitter sources were saying it. And I think we were all laughing in the group chat thinking, Hector Herrera is not coming back. That's crazy. Like Pat pretty much said like that door was closed. Hector's not coming back. And then it was like within a few hours, like official people were like, Hector's coming back. And I remember I had gone on a run, and I always put my phone on Do Not Disturb when I run. So I come back from the run, and our group chat is like blowing up, and it's like, oh my gosh, is Ache coming back? And I like immediately start like vlogging, and I'm like, oh my God, Ache. I call my mom, because my mom, story time for my mom. She's always here. Of course, she hasn't been to a game in a few years, but we're going to get her back out there. But when she did go, in 23, she decided her favorite player was Hector Herrera.
There you go.
And that's when Hector left. She had pretty much kind of stopped following the Dynamo at that point. So when I told the news, hey, Hector Herrera has left, and so has Steve Clark, because she also loves Steve. Yeah. Oh, she crashed. Hadn't watched the game in months, and was like, those stupid owners, why are they letting him go? Like, that's Hector Herrera. So then, of course, I called her and I was like, Hector's coming back. And she lost her mind, even though, of course, it had been years since she had watched the game. She was still like, oh my gosh, Hector's back. So
Yeah.
I think he still had, like, he'll have an impact for me. He'll always be important for me.
It would always be Achacha town here in Houston. Yeah, so I mean, great impact, and like, you know, we're talking about him kind of like he's already retired.
I know, right?
When the dude is, you know, still like contribute, like his contribution to the game is crazy. Like we said, like 2023, basically all the balls went through him, and I feel like they still kind of run through him. Like,
yeah,
you know, he kind of dictates sometimes the pace of the game and what they want to do. Obviously now in the attack you have Guilherme. But he was, you know, I think Achache is the one that kind of gives Guilherme the freedom to kind of do whatever he wants. But yeah, moving on into Arthur, I think, I mean, there's not a lot to say about Arthur. He's just solid. I mean, he's one of the best number 6 in the league, in my opinion. And I mean, he was great in Columbus, and I think he just kept the same intensity and the same power and just kind of like, you know, experience that he had over there as a winning player and a winning culture in a sense to bring it here in Houston. So, yeah, nothing to say about Arthur in that. I don't know if you have any. I know he's my
favorite guy. Yeah, no, I think it's nice having him back. And he helps hold the midfield down. He's great. The defense too. I think he helps the deep right before it has to get to like a Lucas Holter or Resch. It can always go through him, and he can mark it too.
Yeah. Well, look, Dago and Jay Hurtado, they're saying he's a heavyweight and easily top 5 midfielders in Mexico, top 15 or 10 overall Mexico. So I mean, Achacha is a big name to have. And honestly, kind of going back a little bit about that, after I saw everything, I didn't go because I didn't think it was going to be that important. But after seeing like how crazy the people went, I was like, damn, people really like him. Like, I wasn't aware.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised he wasn't used more during the World Cup. They didn't have him out there more during like the Mexico fans were out. So just like, because he didn't get this big presentation coming back to the Dynamo. So how many people like only know he left, didn't even realize he had come back, you know? That's like, you can reintroduce him. And at that point, you know, hopefully the spitting incident's kind of gone. He had the first half of the season. He had done good work in the first half of the season. You remind people of that, and we forget about that one. Yeah, that one little thing.
Yeah, to me personally, the spitting stuff, like, I didn't care for. I think you saw it coming that his time as a soccer player kind of did look like it was dwindling down or whatever. But I mean, he had a resurgence. So I'm just glad he's playing good for us.
Yeah, me too.
That's all I care about.
So it's like it's so surprisingly good, especially when all of our expectations were low for him. Maybe it's good like we had low expectations and he's just completely exceeding them. Yeah,
exactly. Expect the worst, hope for the best, expect the worst. Talking about Chiqui Agustin Bosat, honestly, he has become one of my, at least these last 2 games, he has become one of my favorite players in a sense to kind of watch, just because the role that he's been playing is different. Before he came to the Houston Dynamo, he always played as a 10, like as kind of like a Jack McGlynn, or in Argentina they play with 10s sometimes, which is something that you don't see anymore in soccer. So it's kind of like a rare thing to see. But whenever he was, especially starting his career, his left foot is crazy. Like he is good. But I feel like as his career kind of went on and he got a little bit older, he kind of got pushed back and kind of ended up becoming this, center defensive mid instead of the center attacking mid, which I feel like is the progression for a lot of guys that start off like playing as forwards, and then you just kind of, find your way back, as age comes to you. But he was kind of playing like a false 9. I know some people don't like that term, but sometimes you would see him and Ponce would be behind him, and you're like, wait, what's going on? Like, why is he inside the box? Like, and I mean, if you look at the first goal by Guilherme, I feel like he kind of starts that play, giving that ball to Jack McGlynn, which seemed like it was lost in a way, and he was able to find, some way, shape, or form to kind of get it to McGlynn, who then opened the ball to Guilherme, who then did what he did best. But how have you seen both sides in these last two games? I mean, do you think he slowly but surely is earning a spot in the starting 11? Because for one big chunk of time, like we were like, what is this guy? Like he's not bringing anything. Like he's coming off the bench. He's gonna be just another name in the roster that he's gonna come and go. But now he's actually starting to kind of become an important figure in a sense, right? And then he scores obviously that second goal. But what do you think about him?
I think he has some legs to him. I really like how much he can run around the field. You don't see him getting tired as much, right? But that was an issue. Obviously, he's playing a different position than Ponce, but when you're on the attack, I feel like you definitely need to have more legs than you do if you're a defender, right? If you're a defender, you stay back, whatever. But when you're supposed to be attacking, you're supposed to be scoring goals. Having those legs to you is helpful, and I think he has them, right? He was constant, like there wasn't a defender. He was chasing, and so having him and then Guilherme, they both have those legs to them. It's nice to see you're gonna actually go and run and fight for the ball. You're not gonna wait on someone to sit and pass it for you. You're sitting there and fighting for it, and I think that's what I like to see from him.
And then yeah, I mean, same. I agree. We'll move on to Jack Madelyn. He was one of the highest rated by Rudy on his ranking, which I thought it was interesting. Jack Madelyn for me is one of those like hit or miss guys. Like sometimes he does everything great, and then sometimes you're like, wait, he played, And in my opinion, obviously, some people don't agree with that, but that's okay. I feel like he had a good game. I mean, he's usually not as active, but he's kind of like, I'm not comparing him to Messi, but he's one of those Messi type guys in the sense of like maybe he won't do anything the whole game, but the 2 times that he touches a ball, like he'll do something crazy, right? And like he'll score a goal, or he'll put a nice through ball or a nice long ball. Like he's one of those guys that has moments, and he might not be consistent for 20, 30 minutes at a time, but the times that he's on for those 5 minutes, like he can change a game, he can dictate a game for you. How did you see, Jack Madelyn in this game, and what did you think about him kind of overall?
I think he did good this game. I think I saw a lot more from him. Coming back from break, I was kind of like, Jack, this isn't the Jack I know. And so I felt like this game, he finally got his groove back, was making the passes he needed to be making, was finding the balls he needed to be finding. And so, yeah, I was happy with Jack. Nothing upset me from him. It's not like he did anything super crazy for me, but he didn't do anything that I was like, oh, get him off the field either. He was there.
Yeah. He was there. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes Jack, he's just there. He's just there. Jumping to the other side of the field, you have Guilherme, who I think has become one of the most important players in this league. Quietly, he's not one of those guys that he's causing a ruckus and everybody, the whole league is talking about him. We see Evander like scoring from freaking 30, 40 yards out. And everybody is, oh, we love Evander, and maybe the guy's also a quiet guy. He doesn't seem like he's very out there, but he's one of those names that people watch. Like some people watch those games to watch Evander, but I feel like slowly but surely Guilherme is starting to get into the conversation of like, oh, we're here to watch Guilherme. Like,
yeah,
he's becoming like a household name in the league. And I think we see it, obviously the first that are going to see it is people like us that, follow the team. And then you're going to see like the MLS guys, that have the shows or the podcasts that are slowly but surely going to start writing about him. But I mean, if you look at his stats, I mean, the dude has 10 goals already. And I mean, let me see here. Stats.
It's 17. He has 17 goal contributions and 25, right?
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, just in MLS play in 17 matches, he started 16, 10 goals, 5 assists. So I mean, 15 goal contributions in 17 matches, and he only started 16. So he's basically a vital, important player in every single game that Dynamo has played. He had a one-off night,
Yeah, right. One-off night. Yeah, we'll take it. It's okay. You could have one-off night.
Yeah.
I just went back and watched the goal. Jack did assist, so Jack was there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I didn't realize Jack had assisted, so okay, good on Jack. I feel like I have to give him more credit there.
And in my eyes, it's not an assist; it's just a pass.
Okay, well, it was he made the pass.
But yeah, I
He
see.
made the
I see what
pass.
you're saying. I see what you're saying. He was around. I mean, hey, Jack almost scored at the end. He had a left footer shot
Yeah, he
that
did.
went
He
really really
did. Yeah, and
close.
it was right there. Yeah, I did see
Yeah,
that.
that would have been like the cherry on top, honestly,
That would have
and a
been
really
so
like
good.
really good game for the Dynamo. But yeah, I mean, just give me your thoughts on Guilherme. Obviously, he got called up for the MLS All Star. I think that was amazing because I feel like that obviously propelled him a little bit more into the eyes of the national level. You know, not a lot of people watch that game, but I feel like the MLS sickos, you know, that term, those people are now starting to see Guilherme, and I think those eyes are transferring from Guilherme into the Houston Dynamo. I mean, it does help when the Dynamo right now sits in 4th place in the West. That's always good. But I mean, yeah, just give me your thoughts, I guess, overall on Guilherme.
With the Dynamo sitting fourth in the West, I feel like this is kind of like almost like a 23, right? 23 side. Like you see compared to 23. That's big
Yeah.
regards. That was a good
Yeah.
season. But where the Dynamo kind of snuck in and not like they fought, but like no one was really they weren't really on people's radars, I don't
Yeah.
think. And then you win it with US Open and then it's like, oh, we're on people's radars a little more.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like the Dynamo is having kind of that moment where they're not on people's radars and they're kind of sneaking in and doing great. But yeah, Guillermo, I mean, he's more than we could have ever expected, right? You had that highlight reel that came out when he was first rumored, and
Yeah.
what kind of signing is Pat making? All of this, and so to see him just completely shine is great. I thought it was really funny that the Dynamo, the one thing that they posted from the All-Star game of him, but the one like highlight of him was him winning a foul, and that was it. And I was like, come on, guys, like you
That
just
was terrible.
right? Why'd you have to post just him on the ground? That was awful.
Were you here when we had Fafa Picot?
No,
No. So do you know who he is though?
no.
Fafa? No. Okay. So Fafa, I don't even know where he plays, but he's one of those guys that he played everywhere, like in every single MLS team, basically. He was a winger, bald guy, black guy from Haiti, or he represented Haiti, but he's from Miami. He ended up playing in Miami too, and then I don't know where he ended up. But the point is that Fafa, after every game, he would post his own highlight reels, and sometimes his highlight reels were like passes. or like running forward with the ball and then cutting back and passing the ball back. So
that would be my highlight reel too. Yeah. So it's okay.
So me and Rudy would make fun of him every single game. I mean, we loved him. He's a great guy. He's an average player. He never did great things, right? He plays in Atlanta, I guess. Now he's part of that team, but yeah, he's been everywhere. So like he just goes everywhere that they need a guy. He's there. He's your guy.
Speaking of Atlanta, I know this isn't the Dynamo, but did you see that game?
I did not. What happened?
Oh, Atlanta was up 2-0. Philadelphia scores 1, and then in the 90+5 scores a second, ties it up. 90+6 wins it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't. Were they playing it in Atlanta or Philly?
No, they were playing in Philly.
Oh, damn. That's great for Philly.
But as a Philly fan, oh my God, I would have lost my mind. That gives me like memories back to that LA game where Dan Steras scored and knocked them down too. I watched the playoff games, right? I watched them beat Salt Lake and I watched them beat Kansas City and make their way to the Western Conference Final. Yeah. And nothing will top that game. And like how it was my first game in supporters section, I'm pretty sure too. Yeah. And just like that game, I came home, I couldn't go to bed. I woke up the next morning and my family doesn't care at all. And I'm on FaceTime with my grandma and I'm like, look, and I'm like drawing out. I was like, Dan is supposed to be back here in the back line. Why is he in the box? And I was like doing full analysis for people on how he got there. But that's how that game would have felt.
Sure, Maddie, sure.
I know, my grandma's like, okay, can I hang up now? And yeah, I thought it was crazy though.
I remember that day. I think we were at the stadium we were with Rudy and Dustin, and I think with the tie, I forget who we were gonna play.
It was Salt Lake.
Yeah, they were playing Salt Lake, and then if the Dynamo with the win, that meant that they played Seattle. So when he scored, we looked at each other and we were like, yeah,
right.
God damn it. Like, why would you do that? Like, obviously, you want to win every single game. Obviously, it feels good to always like knock and hit, LAFC or LA Galaxy whenever you get the chance. So that feels good, especially LA Galaxy, that I feel like there's kind of like a little rivalry in a sense.
Yeah.
And, with all the finals that they played, throughout the years and stuff like that. So it's always good to kind of, smack around LA Galaxy. But for a split second, we literally all looked at each other and we were like, Steris, vote. Leave the hero for another day, bro. Because now we gotta go play Seattle. And
I know, and then it went downhill after that.
Yeah, literally.
This Seattle team, like this, if the Dynamo is gonna beat a Seattle team, it might be this one. Like, can we play Seattle like tomorrow, please?
Right.
That's
what they were saying with who was it? I feel like with Sporting Kansas City, they were saying the same thing, that they were kind of like on a come up, kind of.
Yeah, but Seattle isn't on the come up. Seattle won 6 games of
this is where we need to get them.
Oh
yeah, this is like the biggest losing streak since their coach took over, who's been there forever, right?
Yeah, and their coach is really respected. I don't know what's going on there, because their coach is really respected. I think some of our guys in Bayou City were like, yeah, we would be happy if he wanted to coach the U.S. And then for this to be happening, I don't know. And now all the Seattle fans are ready for him to go. I have a friend who's a Seattle fan.
That's crazy.
And he was like, okay, it might be time for like a coaching change.
That's wild. The dude gave him so much. He gave Seattle a freaking CONCACAF title.
Yeah.
That's wild. I think, right? Yeah, they're the only MLS team to win a CONCACAF Champions League.
Maybe.
I think
they won something recent. Whatever they beat.
I might be tripping, but the chat, let us know, chat.
And they were like, what did they say? Oh, who's their player there?
Rothrock, whatever that is.
Rothrock, yes. It was like,
I hate that guy.
We don't need Messi. We have Paul Rothrock or something.
He's good. He's really good. Don't get me wrong. I like him a lot. I thought he was gonna, he was probably in the conversation to go to the national team, because I feel like he's good like that. But you just want to punch him in the face. Like he has such a punchable face. I hate him.
Yeah, it was Rothrock. We were right. Yeah.
That guy. All right. So we basically talked about everybody else. The only one left would be the forwards. Duncan Mawire, he came in towards the end. He had one play where he like really pressured, I think, the goalkeeper, and he almost kind of cost another goal for the Dynamo. But other than that, he came in towards the end. He's still kind of fighting for his spot. It feels like Ben Olsen, for some reason or somehow, he prefers to have Ponce on the field. I mean, the work rate, it's kind of hard to talk about Ponce, right? Because that he's going to give you 100% anywhere that, anytime that he plays, right? He's a freaking tank. He's going to run through people, like literally run through people, and probably hurt a couple of guys in every single game. But it's still like he still owes the Houston Dynamo fan base something, right? Which is the most important thing, goals. Right?
That would be helpful. Yeah. We're 17
as
games
9,
in. If he felt like doing one now,
as a DP, number 9, that's literally your job. A lot of people were like, well, he doesn't get a lot of chances, or he doesn't get a lot of service. But you have Jack McGlynn, Guilherme, Anali, Andrade on the other side, Ache, Bosat. A guy that we didn't talk about because he was off, the Mati Bogusz. I mean, the team is being built around him, right? But we're missing something. I don't know. What do you think?
For me, we all know how I feel about Ponce, and it's really hard for people who are defending him as saying, like, oh, he's not getting the service, or he does the work off the ball, whatever. The rest of the team, had 8s in their rankings, or 7s or 8s in their rankings, and he was all the way, 6.5 or something like that, just completely dragging the team down. I do not understand. Like, let's say you put McGuire in and he doesn't score a goal. That's no different than what Ponce's doing. So what's the difference in experimenting with McGuire? At least you're getting something new with him instead of just continuing to play Ponce, who isn't scoring. Is McGuire, because like I say, the worst case scenario is you put in McGuire and he doesn't score, and then it's nothing new.
Exactly, right? Yeah. no harm, no foul.
Right, unless Maguire like turns around, runs, and kicks the ball right at Bond and scores an own goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I guess like if he really wanted to do a heavy tackle and got a red card, then that's your negatives. But even then, okay, he gets a red card, you put Ponce in the next game. You're down to 10 men, yes, but then you just sit back and that's it. And you like I feel like if you have a forward out, it's not going to be as big of an issue as if you have like a defender out. So just try something else. But I know like the goals are still being scored, right? You scored 2 goals this game. You scored 3 goals the last game. You still scored a goal against DC. You scored 2 against America de Cali. You're scoring goals, even though it's not Ponce. But think about if you had a number 9 that was scoring, how many more could be scored?
Yeah. I mean, usually number 9s will give you about 10 goals a season, give or take, 10 to 15. Imagine if that was the thing, right?
How many games are left?
We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Yeah, okay, we're literally at the half point.
Okay,
so it's 30, 14, 30, whatever the math is. 34 games. So we're literally at the halfway point here, which is actually not a bad point to make. I mean, halfway point, I guess we can transition from Ponce. There's not a lot to him other than it's a good thing that they brought actual competition because I feel like Markanich, he just kind of faded out, right? Like I don't know if he's there anymore, but
I don't know. Him and his brother look just alike though. I kept thinking it was
they're twins, right?
All-Star game. I don't know if they're twins. No. But they look like they could be. They very much could be. I don't know.
I think they are. I don't know.
Oh, but apparently, that's why they look alike.
But apparently his brother is really good, right? Like
right. His brother's at the All-Star game. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe maybe it's just a Dynamo forward thing, because has Duncan scored any goals either?
A curse. Duncan at least scored in the friendlies, but I guess Ponce scored in the friendlies too.
Yeah. And the US Open too. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe the Dynamo's not meant to play with a 9, just have a bunch of false 9s.
A false 9, right? Like that's what Ponce's playing at this point. It's just a false 9. He's
he's like, I don't know. I'm just here.
Right.
I'm just here for the vibes. But yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Literally halfway point. Here, let me put up the table real quick on my screen so I can kind of see some numbers. 25 goals for, 24 against, +1, and goal differentials, 29 points, only 5 away from Vancouver, who is in first place with 17 games as well. LAFC has that 19 games, and they have 34, which is also 5 there, so 2 more games. So easily, if the Dynamo, played those 2 games and they won those 2 games, they could be over LAFC. And then San Jose, which is 4 points away, has 18 games, so 1 more point. So also they could be fighting for second, third place, right? But yeah, just kind of like obviously there was a little World Cup in between. But how do you feel about these? There's first 3 games overall since we got back. I mean, 9 wins, 2 losses. 9 wins, 2 draws, 6 losses so far for this Ben Olsen team. And then just kind of give me your thoughts, I guess, a little bit about Ben Olsen. How do you like him overall so far?
I think this season has turned around. At the beginning of the end of last season, I said, guys, this is going to be rebuilding at the beginning, right? A lot of new players are going to come in. It's going to take a minute to adjust, but I do think that this will be a more positive season than what we saw in 25, I guess, 25 season. And I think that's what's happened, right? It took a minute to get that stuff going, right? But it obviously started getting going, and I think starting the World Cup break back up on the upfront is a good sign of what's to come. So I'm happy with how the team is doing. A lot happier than I was last season. I keep having like memories pop up on my Snapchat, because sometimes I'll like just record a rant really fast because no one actually cares what I'm saying. So I'll just record a rant so that I can go back and watch it later on. And last season I was ranting about everything.
We
And
we
this
can give
season,
you a shower if you want.
right? I have to sit here and talk,
If you
right?
want.
Yeah,
That
that
would
would
be
not
cool.
be good. No, that would not be good. I would, if I had an hour to just talk to myself, I would get in so much trouble. But I am happy with how this team is doing, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing that's upsetting me. I actually love it because I can post on TikTok about the Dynamo and I can kind of shit talk a little bit because the Dynamo's on the up, and I love
Be
a little
good.
banter. Um, but yeah, I'm happy, and I'm happy with Ben. I really don't understand the arguments where you're winning games and people are still saying Ben out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what can Ben do? Like, the only thing Ben is making the mistake on, we already talked about it, is who he's playing as a number 9.
Yeah.
And besides that, I think Ben has adjusted well. I think his playing style as well, right? To find that I really like the tactics going out against Austin to
Yeah.
figure out that going over
the head.
them was gonna work, and doing that 3 times pretty much.
Yeah.
That was great tactics from him. I don't understand how anyone could be upset with that. That was like going with a perfect game plan. So I'm
Basically.
happy with Ben. I'm happy. I'm
There you go.
no complaints from me.
And here's a question for the Bayou banter. If you are a Ben out person, I want to know give me a reason why, right? So let's try to reason it out, because I'm also pretty pro Ben Olsen. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like he has done anything terrible. I mean, he did experiment in the beginning, and I feel like he gave it a good try with the 5 in the back, or just kind of you playing players around. But I feel like eventually he knows what goes. He knows what's right. He knows what's wrong. Even when Jack McGlynn was playing too far back, I've always talked about it. I always want to think that he heard me say, play Jack McGlynn forward, a little bit higher, and then he heard me, and then they're like, hey, we should probably give it a go. And then they did, because I said it, and then that happened. So I'm gonna give myself credit. If they want to hire me, I can be assistant coach too. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they have. I feel like it happens with everything, right? Like, you have to try sometimes new things, or you have some ideas that you're like, I wonder if this is gonna work with this type of player that I have. You look at the specifics of different guys, what they bring to the table, and what can how can you make this team better in a sense, right? And what about having 3 in the back and the 2 guys that run forward, and then this and that or whatever. But I feel like they have pivoted real quick whenever they saw that something was not going as good, and they were humble enough to say, you know what, that didn't work. Let's move forward, and then let's go back to what we know how to play. And I think they did that well. Let me look at the chat. Yeah, I mean, look, Russian is with you. He says, I don't understand Ben's love for starting Ponce. That's the only thing, perhaps. So there you go. And then he says, and maybe placing an alley somewhere else. I think, yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier on. I think that's the only place an alley could play at this point. I mean, there's so much going on up top that where do you play an alley, right? And I think like that's the only spot. And then Dago says, Benny Ball limits our attackers like Inali and Ponce. Only recently are we seeing good attacks from Guilherme.
I have a counter for that. I think Ponce limits himself. I can't. Like, it's not Benny Ball. It is the player at this point. I'm sorry, it's the player. But Benny Ball worked. When he first came in, Ponce wasn't awful. So Benny Ball worked then. It's the player that's gone downhill.
And then Mike, shout out to Mike. We don't know you, Mike, but welcome. Onset said that they're trying to shop McGlynn. I mean, yeah, McGlynn is one of those guys that they brought for that reason, right? To as bad as it sounds, to make money out of him. It's not it's not a secret that I mean, in an ideal world, Jack McGlynn would have went to the World Cup and you would have sold him for like $4 or $5 million. Especially like I think they bought him for $2 million. So obviously you try to get your money back, and then try to get some money on top of that. And especially I think they do have like a 50-50 thing with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
so
I think they do have a sell-on clause.
Whatever they do make, they still have to get give a chunk to them because they brought them up. But yeah, that's no secret. Mike McGlynn is being shopped around in Europe, and I think I don't know if he's good enough. I mean, I don't want to be in a butt, but an ass. But I don't know if
I
he's good.
think
I don't know if he's that good.
for me last season, the team, this sounds awful. The team was so bad that it made Jack look better,
Yeah,
maybe. And
could
so
be.
this season, right, you just saw that Austin game. He wasn't starting in the Austin game, and the
Yeah,
team played great. So I think last season it would have been detrimental if he left, which I don't think he would have left after 6 months. But let's say he left last season, I think it would have the already bad 25 Dynamo would have been worse. This season, I think the players have been brought in that it's not going to be, and there's so much depth in the midfield too. Like that, I feel like we have that is so strong there.
yeah,
So I don't think it's as big of an issue if he does leave as it would have been. I think the
yeah.
main person that needs to stay is Guilherme. He has to stay.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think he's going to go anywhere just because he's already on the older side.
Yeah.
And I don't think, he's I think he's in a good spot. If you become like the face of the franchise and people love you, and why would you leave, right? I mean, there's no reason when you're the guy, in the team. Yeah, if I'm Guilherme, I'm staying here till I retire.
Yeah.
Dago says, I have a counter for that. Ponce did not perform this bad under Matias Almeida, who is now in La Liga. Actually, I think he got fired from La Liga. He's back in Mexico. Matias Almeida, that is. I think he's in Monterrey, if I'm not mistaken. I do not think his same quality of player is the quality of the manager and the tactics. Ooh.
He's gotten older.
Agree.
I still think Ponce's gotten older. I still think Ponce doesn't have the work rate, right, that he could have.
My counter to that is that as a 9, there's not really a lot of tactics and managers to blame. Like you're
just up there.
Yeah, literally.
What difference do you have?
Exactly. You are a box guy, and all you do is just try to create yourself space and chances.
And how many chances has Ponce had that he's just completely skied? Even in that Austin game, he had, I think, 2 at least that should have gone in that didn't.
Damn,
so
he's 29. He's so young.
But he has the chances and just continues to go wide. And so you can't say, it's bad quality of the balls when there are open chances that he misses too.
He has, let's see, according to FootMob, he has 22 shots, 0 goals. His XG, you guys know that I am not a numbers guy, but this sometimes helps. XG is 3.15, so he should have at least like 3 goals, I guess. His shot accuracy is 18%. So only 18% of those 22 shots made it to the goal.
That's awful.
Let's see here. He has 18 shots in regular play, 2 from corner, 2 from fast breaks, 9 left foot, right foot, 5 headers, 19 shots inside of the box, and 3 outside of the box. But
he's getting service in the box too. 19.
Yeah, he's no good. At least in that sense. I mean, when it comes to shooting, he's not the greatest. When it comes to passing, he's average, maybe a little bit higher than average. Possession, he has 50% on dribbles. Defensively, he has a lot of clearances and a lot of recoveries. That's about it. I mean, he's obviously like a workhorse when it comes defensively, but
he's not a defender.
Yeah, exactly, right? Your main job is to score goals. And if you don't, then, why do I want you for? Especially when you throw in the fact that he is the highest or one of the highest paid players in the team. I don't know how Guilherme is looking like his contract, but I mean, this dude gets paid $2.2 million a year. I think it was the number that we found.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty chunk of change to have 0 goals. And I think it's like 1,000 minutes or something like that he has.
Yeah. And then I go back to the argument of if you're going to have 0 goals or you're going to put in the defensive work, Maguire can do that for a lot cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Yeah. Riskers, get yourself two younger guys that have something to prove and just throw them out there.
Right? I mean, brings the D2 guys up. I don't care. We are paying too much for 17 games not scoring.
somebody mentioned Matthew Arana. I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of him in D2. I don't know if you have either.
No.
When is the right time to have a kid like Matthew Arana play? I don't know. Where would you bring him in if you could?
I think you have to do like a last 10 minutes. I don't think you ever start him with a start.
Yeah.
But I think I know Ben got cold feet, and I do respect Ben saying
100%.
I got cold feet. I have a lot of respect because I think some coaches wouldn't have like come out and outward said that, so I'm glad that he did. But I think you could have done the last 10 minutes of Austin, or you could have done even the last 10 minutes of KC. You could have done, and yeah, just give him some time. But who knows? Maybe I don't know that there needs to be a rush for giving him time either, right? He's 15.
Yeah,
we don't need a Lamine Yamal. We don't need something crazy like that. Let him continue to develop, train under the players, like see what it's like. But I don't know. You have to rush for minutes.
Yeah,
but when you're not rushing him for minutes with the first team, at least give him he needs to be playing with the second team. He needs to be playing some competitive football.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah, it's one of those things that you do have to kind of take it slow. You don't want to rush a guy and then just not destroy him, but just kind of burn him out before he even hits 18. He still has 3 years to develop. I mean, if you can, I don't know if make some money, that sounds bad. If you can kind of get the best out of him by 18, I mean, the dude still has a whole career ahead of him. So yeah, there's no reason to rush Matthew Arana. Obviously we live in a world where everything is like now.
Yeah.
But the kid is 15. Like he's still, he's still going to school and stuff. Like I think, I don't know, but he's still young. He's still young. So there was some news throughout the week. There was it was a done deal, and then it was not a done deal.
Yeah.
And now it seems like it's a done deal again, and mosquitoes are biting me. But Sarachi.
It was your boys at Boca is why it wasn't going through, right?
Yeah. My people are retarded. My people are dumb. We don't know what we're doing, but finally they understood that if you're gonna have a player that you're not gonna play, might as well make some money out of him, right?
Yeah.
I think they were asking for like $2 million, and the Dynamo was like, that's a little bit too steep. And we'll give you 1.25. I think it's the number that has been thrown around. And I think that's gonna be probably the number that they're gonna end up spending on him. The initial, I think, number was like $1 million, and now it just kind of went up to 1.25. Do you know anything about him? What have you heard? What have you seen on social media? I don't know anything about him. Do you like his name?
I just saw the Celtics. I saw the Celtics fans were sad to see him.
That's loud. Yeah, that speaks loudly of him. Huh?
And we got I think Stianchenko came from the Celtics. No.
Yeah. He played in Celtic.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe there's that. I don't know a lot. I know the Celtics a little bit.
Celtic boys.
Right. I know that a little bit, but besides that, no, I don't know a lot about this guy.
No.
I did look at his FOTMOB ratings though. They weren't crazy great. So
he's not the greatest.
1.2 million.
Yeah, he's not the greatest. I remember him kind of like vaguely from Boca. I remember his name because his name is very like different, right? And Sarachi, like it's one of those names that you're like, oh, like that guy's playing. If I'm not mistaken, he's a left back. I don't even know how to spell his name. Sarat. I don't know how to spell his name. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll find him somewhere. But he was decent. He was decent enough to kind of like make it out of Argentina and go to Europe, which is the dream for like any soccer player in the Americas, right? Like just make the jump to European football, wherever you may land. Damn, I wish I knew how to spell his name.
Wait, I was looking him up earlier. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay, yeah. If you can just kind of tell me where he went. I think I looked him up earlier too, but I just can't. For some reason I can't find. Oh, here it is. Marcelo Sarachi. He's Uruguayan. I thought he was Argentinian, but he's not. He's a Uruguayan. And he actually played in River too, which I.
He was at Galatasaray and Leipzig. And
yep.
I think he would have been at Leipzig maybe when Jesse Marsch was there, ? Not sure
I don't
when
know
Jesse
about
was
that.
there. Jesse was there. Jesse Marsh is who discovered Erling Haaland. Fun fact, guys.
Well, fun fact. But I mean, his career is the typical career of a guy that, you know, a typical kind of Uruguayan guy. You know, he starts in Danubio, which is a Uruguayan team. He gets bought by River, who is my arch rivals, who I hate the most. But if either, you know, in Argentina, if Boca or River buy you, is because you have a lot of potential and talent to possibly go to Europe, which he did. He only spent one season in River Plate. There's not a lot of stats there, but he played 30 games, and from there he went to RB Leipzig.
And it was under Jesse Marsh.
Oh, it was? Okay, well, there you go. 2 seasons there, and then he made a move to Galatasaray, where he seems like he had really good seasons there. And then from there he went to Levante, which is in Spain. And then from there, it seemed like he took a little dip, and then he came back to Argentina to play for Boca, who is, you know, everybody knows who that is. It's my guys. And then from Boca, he was there through 3 years till 2025. Yeah, I remember him. He didn't play a lot in 2025, but I remember he was a name in 2024. And then from there, he went to Celtic. So his career is pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, he played in really good teams. I mean, Levante is probably the team with the least recognition of all the other ones, per se, but it's still, you know, a European team. And then Celtic, you know, Celtic is Celtic. And I think Celtic actually won the championship last year. I don't know if he was around for that or not, because this one, it says only 25, 26. He played Europa League as well with Celtic, so that's good. He got some international games there. But I mean, it's one of those things, like, you know, Celtic doesn't have the money to buy him, and he's basically up in the air, and is one of those guys that he's good enough to bring him to the MLS. And I think the MLS, even though it's growing as a league, is still kind of maybe at the same level of Celtic. I would say, like, the Scottish league is probably at the same level, or maybe slightly below.
I think they're big. Really? I was gonna say MLS is bigger.
No, it's probably bigger. It's just, you know, if you play for Celtic or Rangers, those are the two teams that stand out, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how much competition there is in the Scottish league either. So I think
there's
more
two
competition.
Teams.
Yeah, I think there's more competition here in MLS.
100%. Yeah, like Celtic and Rangers could fit in the MLS for sure. Like it's like like MLS quality level teams. The good thing about those two teams is that they're always competing internationally, which it's where they get their most recognition, right? Like they go Champions League or Europa League and stuff like that. So they're always kind of rubbing shoulders with, you know, some big names, which is always great for those players. I think Araujo from Galaxy went to Celtic too.
I was looking at his numbers, and they do look comparable to like what our Dynamo, like even like 6.9 isn't crazy compared to like what the Dynamo players are ranking too. So I met fitting great quality wise. Whose spot do you think he takes? Because right now you have
I think he's a lefty.
Yeah, and then Anali was he played on the right this game, but normally Anali would be playing on the left there.
No, yeah, my guy is for sure going to be a left back, so he's going to take an Ali spot, and then an Ali. That's the question that everybody's kind of asking. Like, how do you It's awesome, right? It's awesome to bring all these good players, and then the question again arises: how is Ben Olsen going to transform this team to have the best players available inside of the field at the same time? And can you have all these guys at the same time on the field? Or you're gonna have to sacrifice, you know, somebody for somebody else, you know, so I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but
it'll be
but
more
for sure,
depth. I feel like we kept like saying like there isn't enough depth, right? And so I think now we finally found that depth, and we're having the opposite of an issue of who plays when.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but I think he for sure comes in to take that left back spot 100%. I mean, shoot, if you look at the little hexagon thing on his traits, I mean, his numbers are really, really good. really, really high. Funny enough, it says that his defensive contributions are his lowest numbers. It's a guy that I remember him and watching him book. He goes a lot to the attack. It's the typical left back that goes all the way down and puts across across. So maybe, I don't know, Ponce benefits from that. Who knows?
Then he'll have his service and he can actually
Right?
score.
So
Then what's the excuse? I mean, I still feel like he has his service now, but I don't know that we can keep like they've got to. I hope Maguire gets the start against the Revolution. Will he? I don't know. Because you're already on a 2, even though Ponce isn't doing anything, you're already on like a 2. You've won 2 games with Ponce starting, so who knows?
is interesting. And then Sriracha also play with the Uruguay's national team, which is something that Dago pointed out. He didn't make the World Cup squad, but he played in qualifiers, so he has 5 games in qualifiers, which is also, Uruguay is a very hard team to kind of get into sometimes.
Yeah.
And for him to get some minutes there, I think also speaks highly of him, especially with Bielsa. I mean, that guy is wild. You don't know what the hell to expect with him. So
yeah,
for him to get the attention of Bielsa, it means that he was at least good enough for him, which sometimes it's a weird man to please at times. Okay, I think honestly, other than that, let's just look forward. Take like 5 minutes. Damn, we're already past an hour. Let's take 5 minutes to look at this New England game. What are your expectations for that game?
New England is a good team. I think this New England, like, this will be a challenge. I think we were talking about in the group chat, right? When we were supposed to play New England back in March, New England was not good. And so now, of course, we're playing them when New England is also on the up. So you're playing two broken down teams with Austin and KC. So I think this New England team will really show us like where the Dynamo is at and where they're sitting with competitors.
Yeah.
And I think they're the first like big match we'll have.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've lost Chris, but I don't know. I'm excited to see Brooklyn play. I hope Brooklyn doesn't score on us. That would be so sad if he did. But I am excited to see Brooklyn again. Are you here?
Yeah, I think I'm here, right?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah. Brooklyn scored. I don't know if you mentioned it, but
yeah, Brooklyn scored recently.
Scored his first goal with New England. I don't know. To me, Brooklyn Reigns wasn't as great. So, I mean, congrats to him, but he doesn't. I don't lose sleep over Brooklyn Reigns, to be honest. But yeah, I mean,
Carles Gil is who they kept not talking about during the Revolution game or during the All-Star week. Those commentators could not get enough of him, and he would do great work during the game too. Made himself known. He's
really good. Like, that's one of the guys that, like, if we could afford him, or like if we didn't have like a DP, he would be a guy that I would go for. He kind of reminds me of like a Carlos Vela type-esque player. Like, he's just really good. He's like, I don't know. He's really good in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really good matchup. It should be a good one. It's a makeup game from, like you said earlier on, where it should have been, an easy one, easy for Houston. It's going to be an early game. The good thing about this game is that we don't go a week without soccer, because with the Leagues Cup, everybody kind of takes a break. But fortunately for us, this is going to be the only MLS game to be played the whole entire weekend. So at least we get to see our Dynamo, and then kind of jump in and out on these league games, which is a weird competition. I don't know, how do you feel about Leagues Cup?
I wasn't a fan at the beginning, and then last season I feel like 24 and 23 I was like, why are we playing this? And then 24 and 25 I was like, okay, like this is fun. And now I'm like, I don't know. How do you feel about the Dynamo not playing in it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of like the same thing. I feel like if you play it, it's awesome. If you don't, you're like, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting time? I mean, it's just, unfortunately, it's kind of like another money grab. in my opinion. So there's really no reason to have a competition between two leagues. I mean, you already have CONCACAF Champions League for that, in a sense.
Yeah.
So, and then I just feel like it interrupts everybody. Like,
Yeah.
the MLS, it interrupts MLS, it interrupts the Liga MX, who's also just kind of starting. I don't know. I mean, the good thing is that I think usually Leagues Cup, if I'm not no, actually, no, I'm lying. The thing was like for CONCACAF, usually that's when the MLS teams were just starting. So usually the Mexican teams were better. And then for Leagues Cup, it was the opposite. Since the Mexican league was just starting, those teams were kind of like, kind of still flimsy. And then the MLS was like in the middle of the season. So they were like on point. And that's why they would always do really good. But yeah, I could care less, especially if the Dynamo are not in it. Like, everybody could lose. I don't care.
Yeah, I think with the Dynamo, like the plague of injuries the Dynamo has, I'm okay with them having weeks off or whatever. They at least they're not playing Monday or Saturday, Wednesday, and they're just playing Saturdays. I'm okay. You know, there's that schedule congestion, and so I really the Dynamo. Although I love the Dynamo playing, and I would watch them constantly. In protection of the players, I'm okay with like them being protected from injuries and not playing it.
100%. Yeah, I agree. And like we said, at least we don't go a week without soccer, so I think that's awesome. And just to finish off, Houston Dynamo they lost their first game after like they had a pretty good run. They lost to Sporting Kansas City 2. Funny. 3-2. So that was interesting.
And a red card, right?
And a red card also. Yep. So I mean, honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I haven't kept up with those as much. I know there's a lot of really good guys this year that have been brought from other places, like from Brazil, and just a bunch of like younger guys that are kind of developing really well. So I'm just excited to see, all these names that kind of come up and who actually gets to like break into the first team. We haven't seen Matthew Arana, so if we haven't seen him, then
we also have big news. We forgot about Pedro Cruz.
Yes, Pedro Cruz going to El Paso. I guess he's replacing who went over there? That Blake
Gillingham.
Yeah,
not Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Blake Gyllenhaal. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I guess better competition.
Yeah.
I don't know how many games he's going to get over there. I don't know about the state of USL at the moment. I don't know where they're at in the season. But I mean, if he can go over there and actually play and get some minutes and compete, it's kind of hard to compete as a goalkeeper, right? But at least you'll have a different type of striker because they're more mature in a sense sometimes, right? It's older dudes. Sometimes it's ex-MLS dudes that come in, or if you're, Atletico Dallas, you're going to have Chicharito eventually when they come and play. But I mean, anything that gives guys minutes, I'm all for it, especially if it helps their development. Because I think we can see Pedro Cruz breaking it. It's hard as a goalkeeper to break into a team, but I think he's very talented. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he definitely. I just say I think I don't know that move would have been as big as so many people weren't calling for him to be on the first team or even take Bond's spot. I think Bond has been fine. Earlier in the season, might have been throw Pedro in a little bit, but now Bond's fine. He's doing great. So I think, I'm okay with him getting minutes. Maybe for Wright, it's a different competition. Maybe he's too stagnant with MLS next throw. So as long as he's getting minutes, that's the only thing. If he doesn't get minutes, do what you did with Blake and bring him back immediately if you 100%.
Can. There's no reason to put that dude on the bench. Like, you're just going to push him backwards in his development for sure. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else. I know Rudy is out there in the world exploring the beaches. And we are here stuck in this heat. So shout out to Rudy and his family having a good time. Hopefully he's listening. We love you, Rudy. We'll see you next week. I think you'll be back. I don't know. Maddie, any final thoughts that you have? Anything you want to say?
Oh.
Somebody you want to yell at? Somebody cut you off today? I don't know.
Well, no, I don't think so.
All right, good. And I just remembered the people were asking about Strava.
Oh.
We are on Strava. Go check us out over there. Man, I'm in this competition with some friends, and it makes me mad because one of my really good buddies, he has like 50 miles on me. Like we're doing like who runs the most.
Oh.
And I didn't run over the weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, I usually take off because I was doing stuff. And this dude took advantage, and he got like freaking 12 miles.
I just got back into my running. I took pretty much most of the summer off because I was like, I'm not running through this Houston heat. Like I run for fun, and it's not fun in the heat, so I just didn't run. And so I've gotten back into it, and I'm doing 5Ks, and I'm like, oh my god, how was I doing this so easily? So I'm getting back out there.
Yeah, I try to run. I try not to run during like between noon and like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
It's even hot after 4. I can't start running until like 9 p.m. That's when I'm out.
Yeah. I don't like running at night per se because I have to wake up early. But like if I can get like today, I got out there at 6:30, and
still too hot for me. No.
Yeah, if the sun is out, it's gonna be hot for sure. They say luckily like where I'm at, like usually in the country is a little bit cooler because it's not. I don't know. And then I try to run through the neighborhood, and there's a lot of trees. So
see, that's the issue. I don't have a lot of trees in my neighborhood. Like we have a lot of trees, but the trees don't cover the sidewalk. So if I want trees, I'm like having to run through people's yard, which I'm not doing. So that's why
that'd be weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't do that.
Crazy lady running through people's yards.
It's like what is
no?
What?
So instead I'm a crazy lady who runs at nighttime.
Yeah, well, hey, you got to do what you got to do. But it's good exercise. It's good for the mind. It's good for the body. So you get to eat afterwards and not get extra fat. So that's good. But yeah, for anybody that wants to join Bayou City Soccer, get off my lawn, Jay would tell us.
Yeah, right.
Get one of us 30-year-old dudes, get off my lawn. But Bayou City Soccer on Strava, make sure you check us out over there. Also, if you haven't yet, we do have a Discord. I think it's like $3 a month, which actually that money goes into like paying for all the stream stuff and just kind of keeping up with the accounts and the website and everything that we do. If you haven't yet, check out the website, man. It's really awesome to have there. We have articles basically every day of the week. It literally gets you ready for each match as we do scouting reports, we do highlights, we do conversations with team that covers the other teams that the Dynamo are playing, so you kind of get a good understanding of what the Dynamo is kind of going to go against. And it's just great information overall. And then every once in a while, we have, original stories covering different things about soccer here in the city. But the website is where you're going to find everything, BayouCitySoccer.net. It's awesome. I love it. Freaking Dustin is always trying to add more stuff to it. So just go in there, click around, and, find something you like. We have Dash articles, we have Dynamo articles and Dynamo Dos articles, so everything is well covered over there. And it's just an awesome website that we have over there. And we also have our Spanish recap, so make sure if you have any Spanish speakers, if you want to send it to your tío or something that he wants to be into the Dynamo but doesn't know where to start, just send him a Spanish recap, and then he can kind of keep up a little bit with that.
You know what I've been doing?
Yeah,
I've been to these games forever, and I haven't fully learned the songs. And so I've been with the weeks off, I go, and the band has the recorded songs on Apple Music, and I go to their website and I have the lyrics, and I'm sitting there and I've been trying to learn the songs. So now I'm like walking around my house singing the EB songs, which is great. And my parents don't understand Spanish at all, and I don't fully understand what I'm saying, but I have the Spanish words, and so that's been fun. My parents have loved that.
It's great songs. It's great songs. A lot of the songs are they're fun because I grew up with them in a sense. Because they're in our
they're really hard. They're really fast when you don't know Spanish. So I have to
some of them are complicated for sure.
Yeah, so I listen to the melody, and then I go and I have to I'm just walking around talking to myself in Spanish, trying to get it down slowly, and then I start adding music in. But I have 3 songs learned, so be ready, supporter section. I'll be loud because I know them now.
Bilingual Maddie is out there in the stands, so y'all be careful. She's gonna go full
just
on
don't try to
Spanish.
speak to me in Spanish because
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to blank stare at you. I appreciate the trying though.
No entiendo.
No.
Just say that. But yeah, we do have a Strava, so make sure you just look for Bayou City Soccer. I think me and Maddie actually are the ones that are there. So we'll accept you and we'll throw you out there. And yeah, if you run, bike, swim, whatever it is that you can do on there. Sometimes I put my soccer stats over there so you guys see that I actually play soccer, not just talk about it. And yeah, man, I mean, it's awesome. We just kind of try to encourage each other to stay healthy and just kind of, you know, build a community around the Dynamo, but it doesn't have to be necessarily about the Dynamo in a sense. I mean, yeah, Bayou City Soccer, that's what it is. We like soccer. We live here and we run and we do other stuff. So make sure you check us out over there. Shout out to Ugly Guppy, uglyguppy.com. Make sure you check out, BCS Fib Club. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of guns, but there's a lot of legs. Yeah, Ugly Guppy, uglyguppy.com. Unisport, make sure you check out the 2 locations here in Houston and in Lotes Bravos, of course. BayouCitySoccer.net, everywhere that you look, and just check out our social media. And then, yeah, we'll see you guys later. Maddie, thank you so much for tuning in and coming and speaking with me and just kind of sharing your thoughts and everything. But a positive quota of the week. Do you have anything a positive thought that you can kind of share with?
I don't think I have one. Rudy had a great one last week.
Rudy had a good one. Rudy is a little freaking philosophical genius sometimes.
I don't have one for you.
Yeah.
We have what? There's got to be like a Ted Lasso one. Ted Lasso's coming out this week, right? The new Ted Lasso is a few days.
Yep.
I don't know what he always said. What, like be a goldfish?
Yeah.
We'll be a goldfish.
be a goldfish. But yeah, something. If I could add something, it would be sometimes we wait to do something, like we wait to be ready to do something, but you don't have to be ready to start. So, you know, just if you have something on your mind or something that you want to do or a project or I don't know, anything that you can think of that you want to start that you haven't yet, just start, and then you will be, you know, you'll learn it as you go. Sometimes what you need to do is just kind of make the first step. Sometimes the only way to progress is to fail. I saw a quote. Hold on, let me see if I can find it before we leave. I know we've been here for forever, but
no, I think that's fun. I like that first quote. I think that's something that it's like it's been a year since I've been with you guys. We're like right at a year, and I was really scared to start when you guys like first reached out. I was really scared, and obviously, it's gone well. So.
Here, I found it here. Some guy that I follow on Instagram said, the only thing holding you back from perfection is a little failure or massive failure. That is, like, sometimes it's not little, sometimes it's massive failure. But either way, you know, keep going, because perfection, you know, is just a failure away. So if you're looking for that, just it's okay to fail. It's how you get back up, right? And that's what they say. So we'll be good.
There we go.
But yeah, there we go. We'll finish with that. Let's go, Los Positivos. And thank you, Maddie, once again. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bayou Banter, an hour and a half. Rudy's going to kill me. And we'll see you guys later. Yeah, have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys.
Bye, guys.